So today's lesson is going to be on solving problems by writing and solving proportion. So you're going to really focus on word problems today, and I know you did a little bit of it yesterday, but really this is a notes for it. So first, let's go over some of the rules. Identify the variable and what it represents. Write a proportion. Make sure the placement of the units match in each ratio. 3. Solve the proportion and answer the questions in a complete sentence. Make sure the units are there too when you're answering the question. So let's do example 1. Students help run a summer soccer camp. 2 students are needed for every 15 elementary school soccer players. There are 195 soccer players signed up. How many students are needed? So notice how I actually created a guide that I'm using for my proportion that I will write over here, where I put students on top and players on the bottom. So that's how I'm going to line up everything. My numerators are all going to be students and my denominators are all going to be players. And we're going to say X represents the number of students needed. So it's telling you that 2 students are needed for every 15 elementary school soccer players. So this is going to have 2 on top because that's where the students are. And the players are on the bottom, which is 15. That equals to X represents the number of students needed. So that's going to go on top. And let's just check. There are 195 soccer players signed up. The soccer players are on the bottom, so this makes sense. What you cannot do is actually have a proportion that looks like this. So this is actually interchanging where these are students, but they're in different locations, and these 2 are players. This is what you can't do, okay? So it's okay if you actually write your proportion like 15 over 2 is equal to X over 195. That's also okay because the players are on the top now, right? No, I did it backwards. See, teachers make errors too. 195 over X. So here the players are on the top and the students are on the bottom, okay? So both of these are completely acceptable, but you can mix and match like this. Both of these are acceptable. Anyway, let's solve the proportion. It's like what you've been doing. So you're going to do cross products, cross multiplication. Okay, so this is going to be 15 times X equals 2 times 195. So 195 times 2 gives you 390. So this is going to be 2 times 195. Okay, 15x equals 390. And now because this is multiplication, you're going to be doing the inverse operation of that, which is division. So you're dividing 15 to both sides. So let's do that too. Never a bad problem to get your long multiplication and division rules. So 15 goes into 3 0 times, 15 goes into 39 2 times, so you're going to have 90. 15 goes into 96 times, so you're going to have X equals 26. So final answer is 26 students are needed to run soccer camp with 195 players. Okay? So next problem. I want you to pause the slide and I want you to do it on your own and then check your answers afterwards. All right, welcome back. So the answer that you should have from this is 32 students are needed to run basketball camp with 192 students. 92 players, sorry. Okay? So 32. Okay, next problem. Mandy read 180 pages in 4 hours. At this rate, how long will it take her to read a book with 225 pages? So we're just, again, you can make variables what you wanted to do. So how long will it take her to read 225 pages? So because this is in hours, a lot of the times I actually like using variables that go along with what it is. Because this is hours, I'm going to make it H. So I'm going to change our variables here. Okay, just because I'm someone that really likes to keep my variables close to what you're actually solving. So pages on top. So you have 180 pages in 4 hours. Okay. And 225 pages, and that's pages. So that goes on top over H because that's a variable. And what you can do to make your problem a little easier is actually reduce the fraction. This is a ratio that's given to you. You can actually reduce that if you would like. So 180 and goes into 4. So you can actually simplify that to 90 over 2. And that actually simplifies further into 45 into 1. Why is this helpful? Because when it's smaller numbers. So you can just do, so you're actually solving 45 over 1 is equal to 225 over H. You can only do it with one ratio, though. You can't mix and match. You can only do it vertically, only straight up vertically. And now let's do cross multiplication, cross products. So 45 times H is 1 times 225, or 225 times 1. So that's 45H is equal to 225. Divide by 45. 45 times 5. Let's check that out. So 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 4 is 20 plus 2, 225. There you go. So H equals 5. So it will take Mandy 5 hours to read 225 pages. Okay. Another example, solo example problem. All right, try this problem. Tara read 70 pages in 2 hours. How long will it take her to read 245-page book? So I want you to pause the video and try it on your own and see if you get the same answer. Okay, welcome back. So you should have 7 hours. It takes Terry 7 hours to read 245-page book. Okay. 7 hours to read a 245-page book. All right, next problem. Do a little bit of geometry here. The triangles have a scale of 345, so 3 to 5. So scale just means that the simplest ratio. It's the simplest form of the ratio. That's what a scale is. Find A. So the scale factor is the simplified ratio for all pairs of corresponding sides. Corresponding sides are sides that are in the same position. So side A is in the same position as side A. So let's just assume these are corresponding with the way they look. Use the scale factor as one of the ratios and the corresponding lengths of the other ratio. So if you notice how I do this, I did left triangle on top and the right triangle on the bottom. I think it's easier to designate in geometry if you kind of do it like that because there's no other way to designate it. So the ratio is going to be 3 to 5. Okay. No, that doesn't work that way. Left, right. Oh, okay. So the scale, so this is going to be, this is what it's saying. Pretend this is 3 to 5, like that, okay? So it's going to be 3 over 5. So left triangle, right triangle. So now you're filling in the other one. The left triangle goes on top, which is your A. And the right triangle goes on the bottom, which is your 8. Okay? And now we can't simplify the 3 over 5 because it's already in simplest form, so we do cross products, cross multiplication, the butterfly method. So 5 times A is equal to 3 times 8. 5A is equal to 24. Divide by 5. Well, let's see. This is going to be a decimal. Let's see what decimal it ends up being. 24. 5 doesn't go into 2, but 5 goes into 24 4 times. 5 times 4 is 20. Subtract 4. So let's put a decimal here and a decimal there. So add a 0, bring down that 0. 5 goes into 40 8 times. All right, so there's going to be 4.8 yards. Okay. The missing side length is 4.8 yards. Okay. And last problem in the notes. I want you to pause the video and try to see if you can do it on your own. All right, welcome back. So again, they're giving you a ratio, okay, a scale, simplest form of ratio. So you know this is the smaller rectangle, and this is a larger rectangle. The smaller number is going to go with the smaller rectangle, and the larger number is going to go with the bigger rectangle. And now set your proportions, okay? Your proportion for this, I'm going to help you out with it because geometry is a little new. So you're going to do, again, left over right, and that is 3 over 4 is equal to 9 over C. Cross multiply, you're going to get 3 times C is equal to 4 times 9. 3C is equal to 36. Divide by 3. C is 12 yards. Okay? 12 yards. All right, I hope this helped you with solving word problems with proportions. Bye, guys.